Live from Michigan Stadium, ready to bring you the big intersectional game between Michigan and Baylor. It's a perfect football day, over 100,000 in attendance, 27th annual high school band day, and other than that, we're going to dispense with our regular pregame atmosphere and go right down to the Baylor locker room and let you meet the Billy Graham of intercollegiate football coaching right after this opening message over the Michigan Football Network. In the center, is Rob Lytle. On his left is Gordy Bell, and on his right is Jimmy Smith. The referee is all set with his 5 counterparts here, and this football game is all set to start with Mr. Stan White of the Golden Bears approaching, and here it is, the opening kickoff, end over end, coming down around the 10-yard line, taken down there by Lytle at the 15, at the 20, the 25, and he's dropped right there at the 25-yard line. Check in Michigan's offense, and I see that number 16 is coming in at quarterback. Mark Elzinga, who last year threw 21 passes, completed 5 for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns, carried the ball 20 times, averaged 5 yards a carry. He's starting at quarterback, and listen to the roar from Michigan football fans. That does not mean that Ricky Leach has not done a good job in his first 2 appearances. Out over the ball comes Jim Sear. Wide to the right come Keith Johnson along with Jimmy Smith. The tailback is Gordy Bell and Rob Lytle close in the I formation, 1st and 10 at the 25. There is Rob Lytle, and he's over the 25, and he's racked up in there by Wharton Foster, number 91. Michigan's offensive line now averaging 231 pounds per man. Baylor's defensive line, 221 pounds per man. So Michigan has a 10-pound per man average up front in that trench right now. 2nd down, 9 to go at their own 26-yard line. 2 men right to the right. That's Johnson and Smith. Bell deep. Lytle close. I formation. Long count. Rolling out the rights. Mark Elzinga pitches off to Gordy Bell. Cuts back in at the 20. And he's dropped right there at the 27-yard line. A beautiful horse collar tackle by Jim Arnold, the big defensive left end. Moved in beautifully from his short sideline. Michigan and Baylor are very similar in their defenses. Baylor will utilize a 5-man front, as does Michigan. However, if you watch Baylor, they will read and then attack, while Michigan's defensive line attacks and then reads. Now, Baylor will not angle. They will go straight across the neutral zone. That is 5-man right now. Arnold, Busey, Johnson, Foster, and McDonald. 3rd and 6. Mark Elzinga back for pass. Cocks his arm, and he throws his first pass. It's caught out there by Jimmy Smith at the 40-yard line. Jimmy Smith collects the first pass thrown, and it's completed by Mark Elzinga in 1975. Mark Elzinga, that lad who hails from Bay City, Michigan, 6'2", a junior, 190 pounds, number 16, is 1 for 1 for 1975, and he's given Michigan the first down of the ball game. No score from Ann Arbor, Michigan. 13 minutes remaining in the first period. Baylor in their 5-man front. Mark Elzinga sets his team, flanks 2 men wide to the right. Jimmy Smith at the slot, wide. Way out to the right, I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close. Mark Elzinga looks at a 5-man front and rolls out to the right, wide side of the field. Now he's going to keep the ball pitched off to Gordy Bell. He's over the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45. Hurdles the tackler and knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Beautiful blocking down there by Keith Johnson, who was down there as an intended pass receiver, but he dropped the safety man coming across, and Scooter Reed, number 18, coming across from his wide side halfback position, made the tackle on Gordy Bell, and little Gordy Bell takes off where he left off at Madison, Wisconsin 2 weeks ago when he ran the ball 28 times and picked up 210 yards and was the AP and UPI back of the week across the country. Michigan 1st and 10 on the Baylor 40-yard line. Wide to the left goes Johnson and Smith. It's Bell deep, Lytle close, I formation. Mark Elzinga on the long count from center, takes a snap, gives it off to Lytle, over, smashes to the 35-yard line. Rob Lytle, who's carried the ball coming into the ball game against Stanford and Wisconsin 35 times and average 6 yards per carry, has carried the ball 2 times this afternoon. He picked up 1 yard his first carry a moment ago, and that last second ago, he just moved the ball 5 yards down to the 35-yard line. They're claiming his knee hit on the 35.5. 12 minutes remaining in the first period. 2 men split wide to the left. Keith Johnson, Jimmy Smith. It's I formation with Bell deep. Rob Lytle close, and there is a hand up to Gordy Bell, and he cuts away from one man, hits another, drives away from another, still on his feet to 30, and he may have picked up a first down. I believe he has, because remember, this series started on the Baylor 40-yard line, and Gordy Bell twisting and turning like a whirling dervish in and out of the hands of would-be tacklers. He was finally brought down on the 30-yard line by Johnny Slaughter, who coming into the ball game was the number 2 tackler against Ole Miss and Auburn in the 2 previous games played by Baylor. He had 23 tackles coming into the ball game. He just made his 24th on the ball carrier, Gordy Bell, who made a first down for Michigan. There, Smith close. It's I formation with Bell deep and a roll out to the wide side. He pitches off to Bell, and he's caught back there at the 35-yard line. Ronnie Burns The Grand Prix, Texas lad playing safety, moved in and blitzed from a safety position. Remember I said that Baylor utilizes the same type of defense that Michigan does, a five-man front, two linebackers. They're in tight, however. They're in almost at the line of scrimmage, right between the defensive tackle and the nose guard, giving a Baylor the appearance of a seven-man front. Looking that over is Mark Elzinga back on 2nd and 15, throws downfield, and it's incomplete. Incomplete, but interference is called at the 19-yard line against Jimmy Smith. Interference against the lad who was guilty of interfering with Jimmy Smith from Baylor was Scooter Reed. And so Michigan has an automatic first down. They had 3 on the ground, and just a moment ago they picked up one via the official's route. That was a pass interference, which is an automatic first down, Michigan. Field in the I formation. Bell deep. Lytle close. There is coming to the short side. Lytle has it down to the 15, down to the 11. Beautiful opening hole there. Walt Downing and Billy Dufek cross-blocking. Coatesville, Pennsylvania and Grand Rapids, Michigan in the persons of Walter Downing and Billy Dufek opening up a hole for Rob Lytle, the fullback who went through the wide side. The flow is to the wide to the left. Skotsky and Smergy in close. It's a balanced line with two tight ends. It's Power Eye to the right side, Bell deep and Lytle close, and there's a handoff to Lytle, and he can't get a block, and he is hit right there at the 10-yard line. Right at the 10-yard line with 10 minutes remaining in the first period. No score from Ann Arbor, Michigan in the opening period of play between Baylor and Michigan. The first time these two teams have ever played a game of football, and the score is Michigan nothing, Baylor nothing. At the Baylor 10, wide to the left goes Keith Johnson. At the slot tight on the left side is Jimmy Smith. It's Bell deep. Here comes Smith in motion, making a pro set appearance. And rolling out towards Jimmy Smith's motion is Elzinga. Pitches off to Gordy Bell, and he's hit at the 8-yard line. Bell couldn't pick up any blocking in there, and he moves down to the 8-yard line before Flynn Busey moves in there to make the tackle. Remember, the series started at the 19-yard line, and I believe they may or may not have picked up a first down. Here come the chain gang in from across the way. You'll hear the roar of Michigan football as a sellout crowd of over 104,000 fans. Now underneath him is Mark Elzinga, Power Eye on the left side. There's Rob Lytle. He fumbles the ball, and it's given on the end around this time to Jimmy Smith. He faked to Lytle. We caught Lytle, and then Mark Elzinga handed off to Jimmy Smith on the inside counter reverse. The flow all went to the left. They faked to Rob Lytle up the center, and then Mark Elzinga handed to Jimmy Smith, who was slotted on the left side, and Smith came back to the right. Couldn't. 6 ends in tight in a balanced line. Power Eye on the right side. Bell deep. Lytle close. There goes Smith in motion. Mark Elzinga on the line counted center. Hands off to Rob Lytle. He keeps the ball himself. Pitches off to Gordy Bell, and he's down. Touchdown, Gordy Bell! Touchdown, Gordy Bell! He has just scored his second touchdown of 1975. Mark Elzinga engineers a drive of 66 yards in his first role as a quarterback in 1975. He motored the Wolverines 76 yards in 13 plays on a beautiful pitch out to Gordy Bell. Bell goes in from the 6-yard line, and Michigan draws blood for the first time this afternoon in this ball game. The Wolverines 6, Baylor zip. Bobby Wood, who is perfect on extra points, 3 for 3 on the season. It's up, it's end over end. It's good. Bobby Wood splits the uprights. 4 out of 4 for the season, 1 out of 1 for the afternoon, and Michigan takes the opening kickoff, moves down the field in 13 plays, and we have a score of Michigan 7, Baylor zip over this, the Michigan Big Ten Championship bound football network. Okay, Bobby Wood all set to kick off. On his right is Bolden, Mackel, Hicks, Howard, Zuver, Pickens, and Holmes. On his left, Jellick, Anderson, and Dufek. Here comes Wood. It's a bad kick off his toe, out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Now, Baylor has a choice of either taking the ball where it went out of bounds, which they certainly would welcome, because it went out of bounds at the 43-yard line. That was only a 17-yard kickoff, probably the shortest in Michigan history. I don't think they have a record on that one, Lendo. Okay, the quarterback is Mark Jackson. He did so well 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss. Was hurt last week, but played in the latter stages of that ball game. He has 2 running backs, McNeil and Franklin. On a long count with the balanced line, there is a pass, and it's knocked down beautifully by number 81, and that's Dan Jellick. Dan Jellick, the all-pro or all Big Ten defensive left end in 1974, analyzed that play very well. Mark Jackson, who coming into the ball game had thrown the ball 21 times, completing 8 for 101 yards. He's had 1 intercepted so far this year. Threw his first pass of the afternoon, and evidently they looked at Stanford films and says, we got a pass, and first shot out of the bag they pass. Wide to the left this time is Thompson. Wide to the right goes Jackson. The I formation, there is Franklin with the ball, and he's hit right there at the 45-yard line. A whole pile of Wolverines. Jellick, Mo Morton, and Cal O'Neill. Mo Morton, who has 9 of those little decals on his helmet, You know, that's what you get for the big play in a ball game. Well, so far this year, Morton leads along with Davis with 9 of those, and he just made a tackle on the Baylor 45-yard line. 3rd down and 8. I formation. At the slot is Jackson. The 2 running backs are Franklin. Faked it Franklin. Jackson throws downfield. Caught down here by Thompson. He fumbles the ball, and it's recovered in there by Baylor. Recovered in there by Baylor. It was caught by Thompson, Ricky Thompson, who caught his 6th pass of 1975. He had 5 completions against Mississippi and Auburn in their 2 previous games for 58 yards. And that time, Mark Jackson, who has thrown 2 passes here this afternoon, completed the last one thrown. The first one was knocked down by Dan Jellick. And that time, Mark Jackson found his target. And wide to the left now is Thompson. The 2 running backs, there it is. It's a fumble in there, and it's recovered, I believe, by Michigan. It is a recovery by Michigan. The first turnover of the ball game. And recovering for the Wolverines, it looks like it was Mike Holmes. Mike Holmes, who has had 14 tackles in the first 2 ball games against Stanford and Wisconsin, has just picked up his first turnover of 1975. And so far in 75, unheard of for a Schembechler team. 1st and 10 on their own 39. There's a handoff to Bell. He's into the secondary and down to the 43-yard line. And is he piled up? And that will cost Baylor 15 yards for piling on. He's piled up by 3 men up front, Oliver, Foster, and McDonald, all in there making the tackle on Gordy Bell. And coming in from the secondary was Scooter Reed, and he just jumped on the pile, and I believe that should cost Baylor 15 yards. It will. Was on the pass interference against Jimmy Smith, putting the ball down on the Baylor 19-yard line on Michigan's first drive and touchdown drive of the afternoon. Wide to the left go the 2 men again, Jimmy Smith and Keith Johnson. I formation, Bell deep. Lytle close. The handoff is fumbled in there, and it's fumbled by Elzinga, recovered by Baylor at the 48-yard line. Tit for tat. Baylor fumbles to Michigan. Michigan fumbles the ball right back again. And that, of course, Don, is the inexperience in the sense that Michigan is operating with 2 first-string quarterbacks, and they have not had the chance to work with Elzinga, that is the other backs. Left this time is Thompson. There is the ball, and the quarterback is hit back on the 44-yard line. Mark Jackson takes the ball, tried to find a pitch out to Franklin, couldn't find it, and he is dropped in his tracks back there on the 44-yard line by Mo Morton again. Big Mo Morton, the senior from Akron, Ohio, with 27 tackles so far this year. He had 87 a year ago. He's moving that big 6 foot 2 inch, 225-pound frame around with reckless abandon. To the left over here is Davidson. A drop back pass by Jackson, throws downfield, and it's caught at the 40-yard line, and he's hit immediately after he's picked up enough yardage for a first down. The man who caught the ball was Jackson, number 86. It is his second reception of 1975, his first of the afternoon, and Baylor is utilizing the same offensive weapon that Stanford used so well a week ago. Wide to the right is Davidson, wide to the left is Jackson. I formation, Franklin deep, McNeil close. Jackson at quarterback, and a drop play to Cleveland. Franklin, and he's hit right there at the 36-yard line. Dropped in there. Koshak is in there at middle guard in place of Timmy Davis. Remember, coming into this ball game, had a few injuries this week. Timmy Davis had a sprained knee and was a doubtful player here this afternoon. Bob Lytle had a sprained knee, but he has started and done very well so far. John Hennessy is in there, made the tackle on that last carry by Baylor. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Michigan leads 7-0. Wide to the right is Stevens. Wide to the left is Davidson. Jackson, a look-in pass. It's caught in there by number 81, Stevens, and he's dropped right there at the 31-yard line. A beautiful look-in. That's the tight end going 4 yards down. Check, it's number 41, not 81. It's Sam Harper, the tight end. He caught the ball, turned around, was hit immediately by Calvin O'Neill. First quarter, Michigan leads in the ball game 7-0. Both ends are in tight. That means we have Stevens and Harper in on a balanced line. It's power I to the right side. Franklin deep, McNeil close. There's a handoff to Franklin. He makes the first down to the 27-yard line. Skidding in there beautifully after he was hit at the line of scrimmage, broke the tackle, and was dropped at the 27-yard line by Dwight Hicks, a safety man for Michigan. The Wolverines utilizing their very basic defensive pattern that has been so successful under Bo Schembechler over the past 6 years. Looking that over is Mark Jackson. He has 1st and 10 on the 27. There's a delayed handoff to Franklin over the 25 to the 22-yard line. And he's dropped in there, number 77, Mo Morton, along with Dave Devich. Scored on a pitch out for Mark Elzinga to Gordy Bell. The extra point was good, and that's been the picture. But Stanford now has it, 2nd and 5 on the Michigan 22-yard line. Pro set, and Baylor jumps off sides with the tight end, I believe, over there, jumping through to the secondary. Wide to the left this time comes Jackson. Wide to the right over there is Thompson. The twin sets. There is a look-in pass, and it's caught by Jackson. He's hit right there at the 18-yard line. That was beautifully thrown by Mark Jackson. Jimmy Bolden made the tackle. Boy, Don, he released that ball very quickly.
He certainly does, Bob. It looks like another Cordova coming in here and throwing, but that was a great. He kept the fellas honest by the runners coming up, and then at the last minute he caught his man looking in, and a great execution.
3rd down and 1. The ends in tight in a balanced line. Power I. Franklin deep. Ebo close. There's a handoff to Franklin. He gets a first down as he hurdles 2 would-be tacklers and is dropped right there at the 15-yard line. Calvin O'Neill again in there along with Dave Devich. The duo playing the linebacking spots for the Maize and Blue. Coming into the ball game, O'Neill had 27 tackles, the big junior from Saginaw, while Devich had 19. They both have about 2 and 3 respectively here this afternoon. October 19th of 1974. It's been 7 ball games since Michigan has been scored on the ground. 1st and 10 at the 15. There's a handoff this time to the halfback through the line up over the 10. Bulls barrels his way to the 9.5-yard line. The man who carried the ball that time was number 32, Mike Ebo, who has gone over 210 yards in their first 2 ball games, but he had a foot injured in the last play against Auburn last Saturday afternoon. So it's Mike Ebo in. He's along with Franklin at the running backs. There is a handoff this time to Franklin, and he barrels his way to the 6-yard line. It was 2nd and 4, and he made about 4 yards, and I believe Baylor has just picked up their 5th first down of the ball game, and they're all on the ground. However, they have been set up by the fine passing of Mark Jackson, who was 8 for 21 coming into the game. And as Grant told us both in the locker room, this Mark Jackson is well. His shoulder is healed completely that he injured in the Mississippi game 2 weeks ago, and he's setting his team right now, he being Mark Jackson, with the ends in tight in the balanced line. Power I on the right side, Michigan leading 7-0, but Baylor is set. There's a handoff this time to Franklin. He's hit by Michigan's defense right there at the 5-yard line, and listen to about 103,500 fans roar their approval as Michigan's defense, the finest defense in the country over the last 6 years. They have given up fewer points than any other team in the nation over the last 6 years. Michigan under Bo Schembechler, they only gave up 75 points all last year to 11 opponents. Ends in tight, balanced line, 1st and 5 at the 5-yard line. There's a handoff to, and he scores, I believe. If he didn't, he's 6 inches short. Franklin goes all the way down to the half-yard line, and then he stopped right there, and it looks as though Michigan's vaunted defense is being pierced by the Southwest Conference defending champions, Baylor, who after buckling under Michigan's opening touchdown drive of 76 yards and 13 plays to go ahead 7-0, Baylor's come right back here after an exchange of fumbles, and they have the ball now 2nd and a half yard to go at the Michigan half-yard line, and Michigan has a 9-man front. There's a quarterback sneak, and I don't know whether Jackson made a touchdown. Mark Jackson squirms, wiggles, and slithers into the Wolverine end zone, and we have a brand new ball game as Baylor has just moved after that Michigan fumble 53 yards. The Wolverines fumbled on the Baylor 47-yard line. The Bears recovered, and they moved 53 yards in the same number of plays that Michigan took to move 76 yards in the opening drive of this ball game. So the score is 7-6. Kicking the extra point is Bubba Hicks. He is 29 out of 29 and 48 in a row. He's Mr. Automatic. There it is. It's automatic, 7-7. That's right. This lad, Bubba Hicks, a 5'11", 166-pound senior, had 3-on-3 for the season, 29 out of 29, Don, a year ago, and he's made 48 extra points in a row. Percentage as far as Schembechler coach teams are concerned, but they're a young and experienced team. Kicking off is Stan White. There it is, end over end. And it is taken down there by Rob Lido. He fumbles the ball. He picks it up at the 10, and he's hit at the 12. He's away at the 15 and dropped right there. But they're claiming that Rob Lido's initial contact with the ball and his knee hit the ground right at the 10-yard line. So the Wolverines 90 yards away from going ahead once again, as a moment ago they took the opening kickoff on their own 24-yard line and moved those 76 yards in 13 plays with a pitch out from Mark Elzinga to Gordy Bell, giving Wolverines a temporary 7-0 lead. And then after a Michigan fumble, Baylor came right back 53 yards to tie it up 7-7. Wide to the right this time comes Keith Johnson, followed by Jimmy Smith at the slot. It's Bell deep, Lytle close. 1st and 10. There's a handoff to Gordy Bell, and he's hit right there at the 10-yard line and dropped right in his tracks by Timmy Black, number 60, the linebacker. Moved in there beautifully, used his hands, and dropped the ball carrier, Gordy Bell, right at the 10. A minute remaining in the first quarter from Ann Arbor. The line follows, it's balanced. Wide to the right comes Keith Johnson. Wide to the right at the slot is Jimmy Smith. I formation, Bell deep, Lytle close. There's a fake to Lytle, back for a pass. Elzinga throwing the bomb down here, and it is intercepted at the 47-yard line by Baylor. Call it the 46-yard line. And the man who intercepted for Baylor, I believe, is Scooter Reed, number 18. And so Michigan is guilty of their second turnover of the afternoon. And Baylor has it just where they had it a moment ago. All this over this, the Michigan Football Network.
Tire buying has you go.
A quick dive tackle play. It was to Mike Ebo, number 32, and he picked up absolutely nothing as Rick Koshak submarined on that play, grabbed legs, and one of them was the ball carrier, Mike Ebo, who picked up absolutely nothing. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball resting 21 yards in from this western sideline. Wide to the right this time goes Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. Twins says too much time. No, there it is, the end of the first quarter. 15 minutes into the record book, a brand new ball game with 45 minutes to go. Michigan 7, Baylor 7. All this over this, the Michigan Football Network. Michigan 7, Baylor 7. Baylor has the ball, 2nd and 10 on their own 46-yard line. The two running backs are Franklin and Ebo. There is a handoff to Franklin over the midfield stripe to the Michigan 49-yard line. This boy, Cleveland Franklin, a 6'2", 205-pound junior from Brenham, Texas, is a real hard-hitting youngster, quite quick, and he moves very well through that defensive line, as well as any back we've seen done in the last couple of years.
Certainly is. He's quick and big and can Robert.
3rd and 5 at the midfield stripe. There is the fake draw, pass complete out here and dropped. He couldn't hold on to it. He being Alcee Jackson, number 86, who has caught one pass this afternoon for a 1st down on Baylor's touchdown drive early in this ball game. But he dropped that one. He was all alone in the right flat, and it was a beautiful fake draw by the quarterback, Mark Jackson. Billy Moore, number 49. He's averaged about 35.5 yards per punt on 14 kicks so far this year. He's standing on his own 36, a right-footed kicker. He hangs it up to dry, and it's going out of bounds somewhere around the Michigan 25-yard line. And so that time, the turnover wasn't too costly. Michigan's first turnover, a fumble, was costly in that Baylor moved from their own 47-yard line 53 yards in 13 plays to score on a quarterback sneak to tie up the ball game 7-7. Tartan turf is in excellent condition right now. The I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close. Two men wide to the left, that's Smith and Johnson. There is a handoff to Rob Lytle up through the center, and he is dropped right there at the, call it the 33-yard line. He picked up about 6 or 7 yards on the play. Nice blocking up front by Walt Downing along with Jimmy Sear. Arm, Greg Bartnick with a knee surgery already performed. Steve King last Friday, a week ago yesterday, had knee surgery, but they hope that he may be back. It was not a real serious knee operation. He might be back in time for the Big Ten season against Michigan State. 2nd and 3, and there is the fake handoff. Mark Elzinga trying to pick up 3, and he may have picked up 3. He's just shy of the 1st down. Remember, the series started at the 27-yard line. Elzinga was wrapped up around the 36, between the 36 and the 37-yard line. Mark Elzinga engineering Michigan's first drive, 76 yards for a touchdown. In fall practice, and Frank Bell, the highly touted fullback freshman. They're all in uniform and may see action here today. Meanwhile, back on the field, 3rd and 1. Ends in tight, balanced line, power I on the left side, Bell deep, Lytle close, Mark Elzinga under center, pitches off to Gordy Bell in the sweep around left side. Gordy Bell has a 1st down. He's up over the 40 and hit at the 42-yard line on a last-second desperation tackle by number 27. That's Garland Quisenberry, making a nice diagnosis on that play as he came up, shucked one blocker, and then did make the tackle on Gordy Bell after Mark Elzinga pitched out as he had drawn in the defensive corner man. And then Bell was away free for that 1st down. So the Wolverines now have 6 first downs. Baylor has 5. It's a tied-up ball game. Wide to the right go the Twins again. 27 and 37. Keith Johnson and Jimmy Smith to the wide side of the field. The rest of the team in a balanced line, I formation. Bell deep, Lytle close. Mark Elzinga fakes off to, or gives to Lytle, and he barrels his way over the 45, gets to the 47-yard line, picking up about 4 or 5 yards on the play. Rob Lytle, the hustle champion of the week again last week, as he was a week ago in the Wisconsin game. He's really every inch a football player done, this Rob Lytle. Russell Davis into the ball game. The highly touted halfback from down in Virginia is at fullback. He is close. Bell is deep. Smith is in motion to the wide side. There's a handoff to Gordy Bell, and Bell is hit just shy of the midfield stripe. It was 2nd down and 6, and Bell picked up about 3.5 yards to the midfield stripe. This boy Russell Davis is probably one of the most sought-after halfback that Michigan has picked up since way back in the days of Tom Harmon. I believe every university in the United States, and the big ones, all wanted him. Penn State's Joe Paterno claimed that he would be the next Heisman Award winner wherever he went. And Bear Bryant claimed he ran just as Jimmy Brown used to run. There is the fake by Elzinga. He keeps it, and he does not. He may pick up the first down. He's just hit at the 48-yard line. Remember, the series started at the 42 of Michigan, just over the 42. And Elzinga's hit shy of the 48, so I believe it's 4th down and about 6 inches to go. And now Mr. Schembechler is the man who will make this decision on 3rd and 3 with a scored tie, 11 minutes remaining in the first half. We're going to have a measurement here, and I would hazard a guess, Donald, that they're about 6 inches short.
That's the way it looks from here, Robert. I think you got good eyes.
He's punted the ball 7 times and averaged 39.5 yards a kick. There's a snap from Sear. It's a low kick, controlled, however, by Anderson. A nice kick down to the 10-yard line. It's taken down there by, let's check that, and he's hit right away. It's Gary Green, number 43, and he's hit immediately by Jim Sear. The lad who caught that punt, Gary Green, is the #1 athlete on the team, according to their coach, Grant. That's what he told you and me in the locker room prior to the ball game. He said, you watch this number 43. Well, Jim Sear did on that punt return. He caught it, and he was hit immediately right at the 10-yard line. A fine 38-yard kick. He hung it up well, gave his teammates time to get underneath it. He, of course, being Johnny Anderson. The score is Michigan 7, Baylor 7, 11 minutes remaining in the first half. There is the handoff to the fullback, and he is dropped right there. It's Mike Ebo. Check, that was Franklin, number 22, who carried the ball up through the center, right through the gut of Michigan's defense, as he has all afternoon, and he's picked up approximately 3.5 to 4 yards a carry. They have it on their own 13-yard line, 2nd down and 7. Wide to the left this time is Jackson. Wide to the right is Thompson. There is the fake by the quarterback. He keeps it. Jackson over the 15 to the 17-yard line, and he's brought down in there by Dan Jelly. And, of course, Michigan flip-flopping on the short sideline here, on this western sideline. We have a defensive end, Jellick. The linebacker on this side is Devich, and the defensive halfback on this side happens to be Jimmy Bolden. So here we have a 3rd down 3 situation, with Thompson split wide to the short side. There is a handoff this time to Franklin. He picks up a first down to the 22-yard line. He needed 3, and he got 4.5, just about his average in this ball game. Coming into the ball game, he'd averaged 7 yards a carry, and we can certainly understand why. He carries the ball with determination and grit. The Big Ten is playing out-of-conference teams today. Right here in Ann Arbor, Baylor has the ball, 1st and 10, 9 minutes remaining in the first half, 7-7 score. There's a handoff this time to the fullback, and he's dropped right there at the 23-yard line. It was Franklin again, who's a real workhorse. He's the tailback, as his counterpart, of course, is Gordy Bell. As we said at the start of this broadcast, these teams are very similar in that they run about 80% of the time. They operate out of the I formation with a balanced line. They run the slot, of course. Twin setbacks are Franklin and Nebo. There's a drop-back pass. It's thrown, and it's caught out there at the 30-yard line. It's caught by Thompson, and he's dropped right there, way across the field by Jimmy Pickens. Pickens is off his man about 4 yards, and the split end, Ricky Thompson, just moved on there about 5 yards, turned around, button hook, caught the pass. And Donald, I don't know, but just this fellow's observation of yours truly right now, where I think Michigan is more or less in the same pattern that they were a week ago with Stanford. There's not really too much fire out there. They looked awfully good in the first drive, and then they seem to have bogged down.
It's it that they just got a little better running attack, I think, than Stanford, so we have to be awfully careful, Bob.
The ends in tight in a balanced line. It'll be 3rd and 1. There's a handoff this time, and the halfback has it, spins away. It's Franklin again. First down to the 37-yard line. Remember, Anderson's punt was caught at the 10. He was hit immediately, and they have moved the ball, they being Baylor, from their own 10-yard line all the way out to the Baylor 37-yard line, and I don't think I can remember a team moving so well on the ground against Michigan in any of the years, unless we go back some 6 years to that great Missouri team, the only team that ever defeated Michigan here in this stadium. The handoff this time to Ebo, fighting and twisting and bullying his way over the 40, and he gets to the 43-yard line. And they play with abandon, Donald. These Bears are really growling out there.
I'd say there's no arm tacking out there to stop a fellow like that fine runner Franklin. I mean, he just is big and strong, and Bob, and they've got initial good blocks to begin with. It's opening things up. So our defense has to really shake themselves a little bit.
Baylor's offensive line outweighs Michigan right now, about 5 pounds a man. That isn't too much. There is a fake by the quarterback. Pitches off this time to Franklin over the midfield stripe and down to the Michigan 47-yard line. And I can't help but be reminded that Stanford moved 98 yards after a Michigan punt last week, and now a Michigan punt was fielded, and he was hit immediately at the 10. And Baylor is moving with the same degree of consistency that Stanford moved a week ago. Only this time it's more or less on the ground with a couple of those short passes involved. But Baylor has the ball in Michigan territory for the third time this afternoon. Wide to the left now goes Jackson. Wide to the right comes Thompson. There is a fake one way, and he hands the ball off to the halfback. Pitches off to Franklin again, and he's out of bounds at the 44-yard line. He faked to the fullback and then pitched off. The man that he pitched the ball off to was Ebo, number 32. He faked to Franklin that time and pulled 2 ducks, meaning Michigan defensemen, out of position, and then pitched off to Ebo, skirting around that left end, and he was drilled out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Wide to the right is Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. There is a handoff this time. No, the fake. Jackson has it. He's around the end, and he fooled everyone, including yours truly, out of bounds at the 35-yard line. It was Dwight Hicks, the safety man, the last man between Mark Jackson and the Michigan goal line. And the voice of Michigan football a little bit subdued right now, a little bit apprehensive right now, and you can rest assured that Bo Schembechler and his staff are quite apprehensive at the moment, because Baylor was not supposed to be that good a football team. Playing like they own the Wolverines right now. Wide to the right is Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. The twin sets, and there is a handoff this time. No, it's Jackson again with the ball, the quarterback, and he's running well to the 31-yard line. He fakes beautifully in there to Franklin or Ebo, and then fakes the pitch deep and then keeps it himself. And a fine option quarterback gone as he fakes to that fullback, and then he either keeps himself, and most of the time they've been trailing, they being Michigan on the last few plays, the trailer, and Jackson's kept it. 2nd and 6 on the Michigan 31. Pro set. There it is. The handoff to the halfback in through the center again. It's Franklin, number 22, to the 27-yard line on 2nd and 6. He picked up 4. It'll be a crucial third down situation, and Baylor in third down is now going into their 8th third down situation. They have converted 5 out of 7 so far, and Oklahoma beat Miami last night 20-17. So much for other schools. Right now, Baylor, 3rd and 2 on the Michigan 27-yard line. It's power I, and the halfback has the ball, and it's Cleveland Franklin again down to the 20-yard line. All the way down to the 20-yard line before he's dropped in there by Dwight Hicks along with Jim Bolton. Check, it was not Franklin, it was Ebo with the ball. Ebo was dropped at the 20-yard line. He needed 2, and he picked up 7. 1st and 10 for Baylor as they now have moved exactly 70 yards on the ground in 13 plays. They move from their own 10 to the Michigan 20. The line follows its balance. Wide to the right is Jackson. Wide to the left is Thompson. The twin sets are Franklin. Franklin does not get the ball. The quarterback, Jackson, keeps it and is hit right there at the 18-yard line. On Baylor's offense, Franklin is always to the left with McNeil or Ebo always to the right on that twin set pattern. Well, Michigan's front 5 right now: Holmes, Perlinger, Davis, Mo Morton, along with Danny Jellick. In there now as the Wolverines dig in defensively. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. There is a look-in pass, and it's dropped. It was caught momentarily by Ronnie Lee, who had caught one pass coming into the ball game. He is only a freshman. He's 6'4", 245 pounds. The pass was well thrown by Mark Jackson, right in the breadbasket, but Lee couldn't hold it. A great break for Michigan on that one. So the ball comes back to the original point of scrimmage, the Michigan 18-yard line. 18 yards in from this, the western sideline. Michigan 7, Baylor 7. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. There is a roll-out pass, and he is back. He's hit back there on the 27-yard line. And the man moving in beautifully, I believe, was Calvin O'Neill, the big Saginaw Jr., 6 foot 2 inch, 230-pound frame, moved in there very well, shut two would-be blockers, and grabbed the quarterback, Mark Jackson, right around the neck. He couldn't throw it, he couldn't pitch it, and that's a big break as it brings up 4th down and 15. It'll be Bubba Hicks again, number 9. On field goals, he's only 3 out of 7 for the season. There it's spotted by Jackson end over end, and it is no good. Off to the left, and Michigan's defense holds. Well, unlike a week ago when Stanford moved 98 yards after a Michigan punt was downed on the Cardinal 2-yard line, this time a Michigan punt was caught by Stanford safety man. He was down in his tracks at the 10. Baylor moved all the way down to the Wolverine 18-yard line. We're on 3rd down. Big Calvin O'Neill made the difference as they threw the quarterback for a loss back to the 27, and a 42-yard field goal attempt was wide. So it is Gordy Bell. At fullback, it is Rob Lytle. There goes Jimmy Smith in motion of creating the pro set with Johnson on one side, Smith on the other. Mark Elzinga hands the ball off to Rob Lytle, and he's piled up at the 22-yard line. Rob Lytle couldn't find any running room, as moving in there was John Oliver, the nose guard from the front 5 of Baylor. And so Michigan, with 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining on the digital scoreboards here at the Michigan Stadium, with the score 7-7, the Wolverines are 78 yards away from going ahead in this ball game, and this is turning into quite a Donnybrook here. This 3rd game of the season for both teams, both with identical records, impressive wins 2 weeks ago, tough ties last Saturday, and here they go again. Elzinga back, cocks his arm, 2nd and 8, throws downfield, and it's caught down there by Smurgy at the 32-yard line. And Mark Smurgy, the 6 foot 3 inch freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, makes his first reception as a Michigan tight end. And so I believe, Don, outside of Jimmy Smith, Michigan, well, Gordy Bell caught a 7-yard touchdown pass against Wisconsin, but we haven't had too many other receivers so far in 75.
That's right. He had a sprint pattern on with Smith, and then Smurgy made his block and slipped down, and beautifully thrown for a nice 1st down for us, Bob.
Well-executed pass play by Mark Elzinga. He sets his team, the I formation, Bell deep, Lytle close, 3 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the first half. The inside reverse, poorly executed, but Smith is still on his feet and hit at the 36-yard line. And that's just one of those cases, again, where 2 men running into one another. They just hadn't practiced enough together. Remember, Ricky Leach was the quarterback for the week prior to the Wisconsin game, the week of the Wisconsin game, and the week after the Wisconsin game. And this week it's been nip and tuck between the 2 of them. And that play last week with Leach handing off to Jimmy Smith was good for 110 yards. Elzinga ran into Smith. I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close. There is the fake to Lytle, back for a pass. Elzinga cocks his arm, fakes it. He's going to run. He's up the 40, the 42, the 45-yard line, and he may have picked up the necessary yardage. Remember, the series began at the 34-yard line, and Elzinga somewhere around the 43 or 44. And it'll be 3rd down and about 1. 3rd and about 1. Good head work on the part of Mark Elzinga. He broke 1 tackle back there. Otherwise, he'd have been dropped for about a 3-yard loss. After breaking the tackle, he had daylight ahead and ran all the way up over the 40 to the Wolverine 44. 2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in this first half. Ends in tight, balanced line, I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close, and along conference center is Mark Elzinga, and he pitches off to Gordy Bell, and here they come around the end. There's 1 block, there's 2 blocks, and he gets a 1st down to the 47-yard line. 1st down, Michigan. The clock stop, and we pause for a word over this, the Michigan Football Network. And a pass, Mark Elzinga, the intended receiver down here, was number 80, Przgotsky, and it was well covered in there by Gary Green, the number 1 athlete for Baylor, as he went high in the air along with Michigan's tight end George Przgotsky at the Baylor 40-yard line. And so Mark Elzinga on 1st and 10 dropped back quickly and couldn't find a man open, and then at the last minute he threw that pass to Przgotsky. Incomplete. It stops the clock, however, with 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining in the first half. It's the I formation, a drop back pass by Mark Elzinga, throws downfield, and there's Keith Johnson catching at the 25-yard line. Keith Johnson receiving. It is his 4th reception of his career, but his first of 1975. He had caught 3 coming into this 75 season for 44 yards a year ago, and now he's just caught his first pass of 1975, and it couldn't come at a more opportune time. Wolverines all set now with 18 yards in from this, the western sideline. Wide to the right goes Jimmy Smith. The rest of the team in the balanced line with the ends in tight, and it's I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close. Mark Elzinga rolls out to the right, cocks his arm for a pass, looks for a receiver, throws downfield, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver down there was Jimmy Smith. And Elzinga threw over the head of the intended receiver as the pass pattern never materialized to the so-called essence of epitome in that Jimmy Smith didn't go deep. Ohio State nothing, North Carolina nothing. The oohs and ahs from these 104,000 fans here assembled on Michigan's 27th annual Band Day. Wide to the right goes Keith Johnson. Wide to the right at the slot is Jimmy Smith. Bell deep, Lytle close. There's a handoff to Bell through the line, gets to the 22-yard line. The all-important time element. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Michigan 7, Baylor 7. Grant Taft is indeed a gentleman, a real man's man in every sense of the word. Okay, Michigan set, 3rd and 7. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining, 7-7. Mark Elzinga drops back, cocks his arm on the 31-yard line, looks for a receiver, can't find one. He's going to eat the ball down on the 23-yard line, and so it'll be little Bobby Wood with 4th down and 7. Will Bobby Wood tie the season field goal record? He is 4 out of 4 a week ago, 3 out of 3 the week before. He has 7 out of 8. He missed one against Wisconsin. He's 7 out of 8 on the season. He being Bobby Wood. Kneeling is Ufer at the 31-yard line. Kicking is Bobby Wood. It's end over end, and it is short. It is short of the goal post, and so Bobby Wood does not tie as the season premier kicker for a single football year in Michigan football history, but he has plenty of opportunity left. It's still a brand new ball game, Michigan 7, Baylor 7. Don't forget, Bob Foreman will be on with his big halftime show in just about 1 minute and 27 seconds from now. We have 27 seconds remaining in the first half, and now the question is, will Grant Taft be content and try and move 80 yards? Well, he's handing off to his number 1 halfback this time, Franklin, over the 25, the 30, the 35, 38-yard line, and he's finally dropped over there by Michigan's safety man, Dwight Hicks, along with Donnie Dufek and Calvin O'Neill. Michigan, in a pass prevent, will allow Baylor to move the ball in the ground now, because it's almost impossible, unless, of course, you break one and go 80 yards, but no one has done that against Michigan in a long, long time. Michigan breaks out defensively in a pass. No, they're in a running defense now. There's a handoff again, and he's into the open. Franklin down to the midfield stripe with 11 seconds remaining in the first half, and Baylor calls timeout. Baylor has one timeout left. Here they have 2 Southwest Conference track champions at the split position. Thompson is the long jump champion, and Jackson is the hurdle champion. Only they flank one man out. It's Thompson, number 28. I formation, back for a pass. Jackson, he looks on the swing pass, and it's incomplete with 6 seconds remaining. Well, it'll be 2nd and 10, and we have time for about 2 more plays like that. They took 4 seconds to execute that play, 6 seconds remaining in the first half. Then Baylor recovered a Michigan fumble and moved 53 yards in 13 plays and tied it up 7-7, and that's where we are right now as far as the scoring is concerned. Wide to the right is Thompson. A drop back pass by Jackson. Cocks his arm, looks for the receiver, throws downfield, incomplete, out of bounds, stops the clock with 2 seconds remaining. And so this will be the last play of the first 30 minutes of play in the Michigan-Baylor game, the first time these 2 schools have ever met in football, and it'll probably be the last in the foreseeable future, since Michigan's football schedule is now made up until 1990. And this is quite a confrontation. Both teams representing their respective conferences, and they have a lot of pride, these men from Texas. There they go. Mark Jackson back on his own 40, throws the long bomb downfield. It's caught and dropped, incomplete at the 24-yard line. An incomplete pass. That's all she wrote. 30 minutes into the record book. The score at halftime, Michigan 7, Baylor 7. Bo Schembechler will have a lot to say to Michigan. Now, you can rest assured of that in that Michigan locker room across the way. Meanwhile, Bill Ravelli and Bob Foreman will have a lot to say right after this halftime message over this, the Michigan Football Network.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bob Foreman. We're at halftime here at the University of Michigan Stadium, where we have a tie score between the University of Michigan Wolverines and the Baylors from Baylor, Texas University, and a well-fought first half here at the University of Michigan Stadium. Well, as you can hear, it's Band Day at the University of Michigan Stadium. I think this is the 27th year of Band Day, and the man who brought the bands to the University of Michigan campus for the very first Band Day, our former director of bands at the University of Michigan, the great maestro himself, William D. Ravelli, is here at the microphone with us. Bill, welcome to the press box, and tell us, when did you first get the idea for a Band Day at the University of Michigan?
Well, I actually got the idea from reading a book, The Irish Orpheus, of Patrick Gilmore, when he did the Jubilee with 4,000 bandsman, orchestra, and choir in Boston. And in reading that book, I realized that there'd never been a gridiron band day. And actually, the whole project came to focus when I was fishing in the Gunnison River in the Black Canyon of Colorado in 1946. And of course, I kept imagining it throughout the summer, and we put it on the next year.
Let's see, now that first band day was back in 1949. How many bands did you have on the field?
There were 27 bands.
27 bands. And tell us, what were some of the problems you faced logistically, or some of the anecdotes that occurred in that very first band day?
Well, of course, I just imagine myself, Bob, as being one of the bandsmen coming in from the Upper Peninsula or in the Thumb area and getting on the bus. And, of course, where do you park the buses? Selecting the music, having the bandsmen in the proper place on the field and in the stadium, and then getting them on the field and off in the allotted time. Of course, selecting music in itself is a very important matter, because if you select the wrong music, the whole thing is a fiasco. So that took a lot of planning. Then charting the formation. During the first band day, we did do some formations. We formed the word bands and Sousa and played mostly the music of Indiana, Michigan, and Sousa marches.
All set to bring you the 30-minute thrilling second half of the Michigan-Baylor game of 1975. 13,000 high school bandsmen filing up behind the goalposts at either end zone. Boy, that's been a colorful spectacle here at halftime. What a majestic is all the only word for it. It really is pageantry at its finest. All the colors of the rainbow emanating from both end zones right now. The players themselves have come out of the tunnel from the eastern sideline, and of course, as you may remember, that Michigan won the toss. Incidentally, they won the toss of all three ball games so far, and they're right where they were a week ago at the end of the ball game, in that they're all tied up with their opponent 7-7. Below us, there is Bobby Wood approaching end over end, and this is a fine one down around the 3-yard line. It's taken down there by Green, and he's up to the 20, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line. 83, that's Hawthorne, the second-string right halfback, driven out of bounds on the eastern sideline. They bring it 18 yards in from the far eastern sideline. The score is Michigan 7, Baylor 7. We're in the opening series of downs in the second half. Baylor has the ball. They have in the backfield Jackson, number 86, along with Ebo, number 32, and Franklin, number 22. 32 and 22 are the set men in the backfield. Wide to the right this time goes Thompson, the split end. Ricky Thompson. The rest of the team is in the balanced line. Tight slot on the right side. I formation. Franklin deep. Franklin has the ball, and he's up over the 20 and hit at the 21-yard line on a gang tackle by three Michigan men, all in there. Donnie Dufek heading up the 3, along with Jimmy Pickens and Dave Devich. Three Wolverines in there making the tackle on Cleveland Franklin, number 22, who coming into the ball game had averaged 7 yards per carry, and he has an average of 5.5 yards per carry in this ball game. The rest of the team is in the tight set. Jackson at the slot. Roll out pass by Jackson. He throws downfield, and it's deflected. Deflected by Donnie Dufek and almost intercepted. It was a little high on the 28-yard line. Dufek couldn't quite reach up. Remember, Donnie Dufek has an interception this year, 2 weeks ago against Wisconsin back at Madison, after intercepting the ball on the Wisconsin 48-yard line. You remember, Don, how old Dufek ran that all the way back to the Wisconsin 22-yard line?
I remember that well. I remember.
Thank you, Howard Cosell. Okay, here it is, a crucial third down situation. They have, there it is, a drop play, and he's up over for the first down, the 30 to 35-yard line. Beautifully conceived and well executed, the oldest play in the book, the drop play. The quarterback goes back on third down and long yardage. He fakes the pass, gives a delayed handoff to his fullback, Mike Ebo, right up through the gut of Michigan's defense. They were all spread out anticipating a pass, and he picked up actually 16 yards on the play, and so give Baylor the first down of the second half, and the Bears are off and clawing at the Wolverines. Wide to the right now goes Jackson. There is the handoff at the fullback, Ebo, and he's hit right there at the 36-yard line.
Ball carried by Ebo, a flag on the play.
There's a flag on the play. I don't believe he gained anything on the play. If he did, it's just inches. So it's still almost 10 yards to go for the first down. Only now it's second down and 10. The penalty is declined. Wide to the right this time goes Ricky Thompson. At the slot on the right side, tight is Jackson. It's Franklin deep and Ebo close. There's a handoff to Franklin. He's around the right side, and he's driven to the ground at the 39-yard line. Cleveland Franklin moving well behind his interference and then sifting through beautifully. Number 55, that happened to be Devich, who moved in there and made the tackle along with Dan Jellick, who broke up the interference, and the ball carrier was stopped just shy of the 39-yard line. It brings up 3rd down and 7. Wide to the left here on the tight side is Ricky Thompson. The ends are in tight, and there's a drop back pass. It's a draw play. He fakes a draw. He throws a pass way down. It's intercepted. He can't hold on to it. It's Jimmy Pickens couldn't hold the ball at the 37-yard line. It was right in his hands. He was trying desperately to hold on to it. He intercepted one so far this year a week ago against Stanford, but he couldn't hold on to that one. And so Michigan drops Dwight Hicks back in a safety along with Jimmy Smith. Gordy Bell's brought back one, and Hicks has yet to bring one back. And punting, of course, is Billy Moore, who in the first half only punted once. 23 yards. The line of scrimmage, the 39. The punter, Moore, is back on the 25-yard line. There's a snap. Head high. He controls it. Oh, he hangs that one up beautifully. And it's taken there on a fair catch by Smith at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Maize and Blue, as for the first time in the second half, Michigan has the ball. A 43-yard kick, well above his average of 35.5 yards per punt in his first 14 punts of the year against Mississippi and Auburn. Wide to the left goes Keith Johnson. Wide to the left at the slot is Jimmy Smith. It's I formation. Bell deep. Lytle close. There's a handoff to Bell. He's into the secondary. He's hit at the 25, the 26-yard line. Couldn't break that last tackle. Gordy Bell picking up nice interference. He gets the ball out over the 25-yard line. Remember, the series started a play ago at the 17, and on that last play, he picked up about 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2. The ball resting 19 yards in from this, the eastern sideline. Both quarterbacks figuring in the scoring in the first half. Mark Elzinga on a pitch out to Gordy Bell for a 6-yard touchdown, and then Mark Jackson on a quarterback sneak from the half-yard line. 7-7 is the score right now. At the slot is Smith. Wide to the left is Johnson. I formation. There is Lytle with the ball, and Lytle's first down to the 31-yard line. Through Donahue and Sear, both making fine blocks up front, opening up a hole for their fullback, Robbie Lytle, who coming into the game had carried the ball for Michigan against both Wisconsin and Stanford 35 times, averaging 6 yards per carry. Johnny Oliver making the tackle, the nose guard in the 5-man front. And right now, defensively, Baylor's defensive line averages 221 pounds a man. Michigan's offensive line right now breaking out of the huddle, 231 per man. There's a handoff to Lytle. We can't find a hole, and he struggles through for about 3 yards to the 35-yard line. He picked up on 1st down and 10, about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. Johnny Oliver again in on his second successive tackle. He caught Bo's eye in spring practice and has done so well here in the early stages of the 1975 campaign. And he plays as a wide receiver on the demonstration team in practice. Bo wants his kickers to mix it up in the rough stuff. There is a fake handoff. Marco Zinga off to Gordy Bell, and he's hit right there at the 34-yard line, losing on the play a yard. The flow went to the left. It was a counter play back to the right. No one was fooled, no one on Baylor, that is, because Kevin McDonald, the defensive left end and the 5-man front, diagnosed it very well. With the flow going away from him, he just took a step back, looked it all over, and then watched Mark Elzinga come toward him, pitched off to Gordy Bell, and he dropped him right there at the 33-yard line. Brings up 3rd down and 9. Jackson has converted 7 out of 11. There it is. Mark Elzinga back from the 32. Cocks his arm and throws downfield to Keith Johnson, and he can't hold it at the 38-yard line. Boy, that was great defensive work in there by Gary Green, number 43. The lad who Grant Taft told you and I in the locker room before the ball game was his number 1 athlete. He just said it this way. Bob, you tell your fans to listen for Gary Green, number 43, the finest athlete on the field for Baylor. And so Baylor stops the Wolverines as they pick up in the second half opening drive for Michigan. 1 first down. It's 4th down and 9 on their own 33. There's Anderson back. His last one was 39 yards. This time he really booms it over the head of the receiver all the way down into the end zone. A beautiful punt. All the way down. It hit on the fly. The Baylor 7-yard line. A 61-yard kick into the end zone. A beautiful punt. The longest punt of the year. His longest punt coming into this last one was 50 yards 2 weeks ago in the opener against Wisconsin. And this time 61 yards. A beautiful punt by Johnny Anderson. That sophomore from Waukesha, Wisconsin. The punting is in good hands, Mr. Lund, for Michigan for the next couple of years.
And punt, and I think that started us on our way, Bob.
Okay, the twin sets are Ebo along with Franklin. Wide to the right is Thompson, and there is the handoff to Franklin, and he's hit right there. Michigan's defense dug in and gave no ground at all. After Baylor had picked up an unbelievable against Michigan on the ground of 122 yards in that first half. Michigan, meanwhile, only picked up 85 yards running in the first half. They only pay off on one statistic, and that's that final score, which right now the scoreboard is owned by neither team as it reads Michigan 7, Baylor 7. 2nd and 10 on their own 20-yard line. The twin sets are Ebo and Franklin. A rollout pass, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver out there was a split end, Ricky Thompson, but he couldn't hold it. Ricky Thompson is a high hurdle conference champion down in the Southwest. He's a sprint man. He also ran a leg on their sprint relay team, their 400-meter or 440-yard relay team, and I understand he can move the 100 in under 10 seconds. They ran 40.2, which is a school record at Baylor, and that's picking them up and laying them down, believe me, in that 440-yard relay. Okay, here it is. Football, 3rd and 10. Baylor on their own 20-yard line. There's the inside reverse, and it's given off to the halfback, and he's up over the 27-yard line with 3rd and 10. He picked up 8. It's Jackson, the halfback, on the inside reverse. The same play that Jimmy Smith executed so well against Stanford, but hasn't had the opportunity to pick up much yardage today. Baylor used it beautifully that time to pick up 8 yards, but they're shy by 2 of the first down. And I believe, Don, that's the first time since early in the ball game that Baylor has been stopped short of a first down.
That's right. Those third down situations have been able to convert, Bob, and that one pass just went off that outstanding trackman you were talking about, and so that changed the complex completely.
So punting will be Billy Moore. He's punted 23 and 43 yards a moment ago. He's standing on his own 14-yard line. The point of scrimmage at 28. A right-footed kicker, a high, long spiral. And there's Jimmy Smith on the fair catch at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Maize and Blue. Check in Michigan. On offense, check in the Baylor defense. A 34-yard punt to go along with his 2 other punts of 23 yards and 43 yards. So he split it about even, and his average for the afternoon is somewhere around the punt he just executed, 34 yards. Ricky Leach, who coming into the game today against Wisconsin and Stanford, had 8 for 27 in passing, averaged 4.5 yards per carry. There's the inside reverse this time to Jimmy Smith, and he's caught from behind and driven to the ground at the line of scrimmage. 2 blockers in front of him. Neither one could knock down Gary Green, the #1 athlete on the Baylor team, who used his hands very well on 2 would-be blockers, and he came up from his short side halfback position, and he diagnosed that play beautifully. That's the same play that Baylor used a moment ago and picked up about 3 yards on. Now Michigan comes back to their basic offensive pattern for this. 2 men wide to the left, drop back pass by Ricky Leach. He throws it to Keith, and it's intercepted at the 43-yard line. Intercepted by Slaughter, and he's down to the 30, the 24, and Ricky Leach is intercepted. For the 4th time in his young career as a freshman, and Baylor has excellent field position on the 24-yard line, and that young freshman is getting the boos of an unknowing crowd here, 104,000 partisan fans. Well, I guess that's why they pay $7. They have a right to criticize, but remember, he's only a freshman. 3 short months ago, he was in Southwestern High School up there in Flint. He's done a great job for Michigan. Beat a strong Wisconsin team, performed well last week. That'll happen to anybody in interception. A naked reverse by Mark Jackson around the left side, over the 20, the 15, the 10, piggyback ridden out of bounds at the 10-yard line, and Mark Jackson, the quarterback. Don, I don't know whether that was a broken play or a called play.
I would say it was a broken play, Bob, and then he just was alert enough to pour the coal to her and made a fine gain.
You know, it looked like the old professional play of a naked reverse. Everybody goes to the right, and the quarterback holds, and remember how Bobby Lane used to do that with
Bob
the Lions.
Waterhouse.
Opening 10-yard line, the score is Michigan 7, Baylor 7. Wide to the right is Thompson. On the left side is Jackson. The 2 running backs are Ebo and Franklin. There is a handoff to Franklin. He's hit by Maize and Blue at the 9-yard line, struggles to the 7. Picks up 3 yards on the play. 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. They have 4 downs to go 10 yards in, they being Baylor. They pick up 3 yards on the first down. The ball is resting 18 yards in from the western sideline. The score is Michigan 7, Baylor 7. We have 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. Baylor is threatening as they have a tight slot on the right side. There's a handoff to Franklin again. He breaks the tackle at the 5 and is down to the 2-yard line. And Cleveland Franklin, number 22, just drills his way through the left side of Michigan's defensive line. They bring the ball in 18 yards from the western sideline in Band Day of 1975. As Baylor breaks out of the offensive huddle, full of that old pep and vinegar. The ends are in tight, and the balanced line is Power Eye on the right side. Cleveland deep, Ebo close, Jackson at the blocking spot. Underneath is Jackson. They're not brothers. They're from different sections of Texas. Jackson, the quarterback, on a very long count, and there is the handoff to Franklin. He hits nothing but Maize and Blue at the 1-yard line. And now it'll be 4th down and 1.5 yards to go. And what do? Do you use Mr. Automatic? He's had 48 extra points in a row, and he's inside of that 3-yard marker for the extra point, but it would be a slight angle. Or do you go for broke? Grant Taft will make that decision. They're going for the win. They're going for the Big 7. The ends are in tight. The balance line of Michigan has a 9-man front, and the crowd yelling so loud that Mark Jackson asked the referee, Otho Courts, if he will please ask the crowd to settle down. 7, Baylor 7. Baylor intercepted a Michigan pass on the Wolverine 33, and they now have it 4th and 1/2 yard to go. Ends in tight in the balance line, a roll out pass play, and he's going to run with the ball, and he may make that end zone, and he does make the end zone. No, sir, wait a minute. No, sir, they're claiming he didn't. They're claiming he didn't. He's knocked out of bounds, and the man who knocked him out of bounds over there was Donnie Dufek, I believe, or Devich. Boy, he looked like he was in, Donald.
Great effort by Don Dufek. He really poured.
That co-captain on defense, Donnie Dufek, moved that big frame of his, 200 pounds, and he just hurled that Jackson out of bounds at the 6-inch line. It went into that northeast corner. We called it. He was going away from us, and it looked as though one leg was in, but they claimed the ball and the other leg was out of bounds there at the 6-inch line. And it is Bell deep and Lytle close in the I formation with one man spread out to the right. Russell Davis is in at fullback. Davis has the ball, and he's hit right there at the 1-yard line. The whole left side of that front 5 of Baylor, Oliver, Foster, McDonald, a Baylor defensive line averaging 221 pounds, with Michigan's offensive line up front averaging 231 pounds. Driving from the heart on both sides as Michigan has its 2nd down. 9 yards to go. Here comes big number 88, Gene Johnson, in with a play. Murgy and Prisgotsky on a balanced line. There's a handoff to Lytle, or Doser. Davis again. He's out to the 6-yard line. Russell Davis, one of the most heralded high school halfbacks to come out of the East in years, and he decided to cast his lot with Bo Schembechler in Michigan. Ricky Leach and Elzinga have converted 4 out of 8 so far. This will be their 9th. Will they make it 5 out of 9? The I formation, Bell deep. There is a rollout by Leach, and he pitches off the Bell, and he's up to the 5, the 7, the 9. He doesn't make a first down, however, but he does. He does give Johnny Anderson punting room. The ball is at the 8-yard line. Actually, Anderson can now be 17 yards back. He only needs a good 15 to get off a decent punt. And had they stopped him on 3 plays inside that 3-yard line, Donald, he'd have had difficulty getting that punt away.
That's right. It puts a little extra pressure, and they'd put the rush on, Bob, which is a good gamble.
All on the 8-yard line. Anderson, midway between the end lines, halfway back in the end zone. There's a snap from Sear. There's the kick. A high, lazy, fine punt. It's taken down there by Green. At the midfield stripe, he's being chased across the field, and Donnie Dufek drives him out of bounds at the 45-yard line, along with Mike Holmes. A 43-yard punt from out of the shadow of their goalposts and a 9-yard return. Michigan's defense came to the front on the half-yard line as they stopped Baylor from taking the lead, and now with 4 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. The score is still 7-7. Michigan's defensive front 5 once again. Jellick, Mo Morton, Koshak, Perlinger, and Holmes. And you know, one of the secrets of Michigan's success on defense is that the offense has never put them in jeopardy up until this year, and now the defense is playing more than their share out there on that turf in these 60 minutes of football. There is Mark Jackson rolling out to the right, pitching off to Franklin. He's hit at the 45, and Michigan is aggressive on defense. And really, the Daubers of the Wolverines for the first time this afternoon are really kind of driving out from Mother Earth, let me tell you. As coming across there beautifully was Dwight Hicks on the safety blitz. He diagnosed that as Davy Brown, the All-American, used to do from that safety position in the last 3 years for Michigan. Dwight Hicks coming into his own here as a sophomore. He's the safety man. Had academic difficulties. Didn't play much until about a week ago. Wide to the right now is Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. The 2 running backs are Ebo and Franklin. Drop back pass by Jackson. It's caught out here by Jackson. He gets away from the halfback, and Dufek again brings him down on the 28-yard line. Donnie Dufek playing like a madman, Donald. He is every bit an All-American Wolfman as he's playing today.
Certainly is, Bob. They caught 22 Bolden and made a mistake to the inside, and the fellow made a quick pirouette and went around and picked up the first down.
Here's some scores of other teams out of Big Ten play. Wisconsin 7, Missouri nothing. Surprise from down in that ball game. Northwestern 7, Notre Dame 7, Texas A&M 16, Illinois zip. But back to Michigan Baylor, 7-7. Baylor has it 1st and 10 on the Wolverine 28-yard line. Drop back pass by Mark Jackson. Throws out there, and it's caught out there by 28 Thompson. He's dropped on the 25-yard line by Jimmy Bolden. Boy, Bolden wasn't fooled on that one. He diagnosed it well. Catching it over there was Thompson. He turned and moved downfield, and Jimmy Bolden made a secure tackle right around the shins. And a ball player, either a pass receiving end or a halfback, doesn't go anywhere when you tackle him around the ankles. You grab him together and he drops, and that's exactly what he did that time. In passing this afternoon, this guy Mark Jackson has thrown the ball 16 times and completed 7. Michigan is 3 for 8. All right, here we have it. 2nd and 7 on the 25-yard line. There's a fake to the full, a look-in pass to the halfback. Beautifully thrown, caught to the 15, 14-yard line, first down. Boy, that was almost a pitch forward. He almost looked like a shot putter, he being Mark Jackson, as he faked to the fullback and then looked up and saw Ronnie Lee, his big freshman, 6'4", 245-pound tight end, who had moved down 4 yards, just turned around and he just shuffled it over the line of scrimmage, he being Mark Jackson, into the hands of that great big Ronnie Lee, and he turned around and was hit immediately by O'Neill and Dufek again. So here we have it, 1st and 10 on the Michigan 14-yard line, and Baylor is knocking at the touchdown door again. There's a handoff this time to Franklin. Breaks his tackle at the 12, the 10, the 9-yard line. As Cleveland Franklin running as well as any halfback we've seen in a long time against Michigan's vaunted defense against the rush. Michigan 7, Baylor 7. It's been all Baylor here in the second half, as Michigan had a pass intercepted on the 33, and they haven't gotten out of the hole yet. They stopped him on the half-yard line a moment ago. Now Baylor's back again. 2nd and 4 on the 8. There is the halfback running with the ball in the end around. It's out of bounds at the 5-yard line. The delayed counter reverse again. Mark Jackson faking to Ebo, faking to Franklin on crossbucks, and then the halfback from the slot coming around from the right, left, moving to his right toward that eastern sideline, the northeast corner. You can picture it. Dan Jellick diagnosed it well, shifted over there and picked up Jackson as he took the reverse, and they ran parallel with each other and went out of bounds together at the 5-yard line. 3rd down and about a yard to go. Wide to the right is Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. There is the handoff this time to Franklin. 1st down at the 2-yard line, and they have 4 downs. They being the Baylor Bears. And look at those lads from down in Waco, Texas, Donald, over in that eastern sideline. There isn't a Texas player seated. Of course, for that matter, there isn't many Michigan men seated below us here on the bench. Last week, Stanford had 4 downs from the 4-yard line and had to settle for a field goal. Wide to the left is Thompson. Wide to the right is Jackson. It's the I formation. There goes Franklin again. It's touchdown Baylor. Franklin scores, and Baylor draws blood for the first time in the second half to go ahead of Michigan for the first time in the ball game, 13-7. 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. 55 yards in 8 plays. But it was all set up on that pass interception on the Michigan 33-yard line to put the Wolverines in the hole, and they haven't been able to get out since. And the center will be Johnson. It's snapped, it's spotted, it's end over end, it's kicked, and it is Baylor 14, Michigan 7, with 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining on both of the digital scoreboards at either end of the field. Donald?
Bob, just a reminder, as you look at the scoreboard, they just announced over the PA system that the scoreboards were not working properly. There was 1 minute and 58 seconds left to go in the ball game, so as you go along, it's being kept down on the field.
You mean in the 3rd period?
That's correct.
And on this side is Max Richardson. Those 3 men watching Stan White approach the ball, end over end. It's kicked, and it is Gordy Bell taking it. He's averaged 24.5 yards a return. He's up to 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40. He cuts over the midfield stripe and gets away at the 40 and then to the 38-yard line. Gordy Bell brings the kickoff return all the way back from the 2-yard line all the way down to the 38-yard line of Baylor, and 104,000 fans go berserk, as Michigan has excellent field position on the Baylor 35, with Baylor leading 14-7. 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the 3rd period in a ding-dong ball game from Ann Arbor, Michigan. The 3rd game of the season for both teams. Up over the ball comes Jimmy Sear. Ricky Leach is in at quarterback. The fullback right now is Russell Davis. At tailback is Gordy Bell. It's the I formation. There goes Gordy Bell again, and he's hit at the 32-yard line. Picking up 3 yards on the play. Crossbox in there, Mark Donahue along with Jim Sear. And Baylor is unpiling, and getting up from the bottom of the pile is Gordy Bell. The score is Baylor 14, Michigan 7. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Up over the ball comes Jim Sear. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Wide to the right goes Keith Johnson. Wide to the right, the slot is Jimmy Smith. Bell deep. Russell Davis close in the I formation. A long count by Ricky Leach. He hands off to Russell Davis. He barrels to the 28-yard line, picking up another 4 yards on the play. Remember, the series started at the Baylor 35-yard line. Russell Davis is brought down at the 29-yard line. A critical 3rd down and 4 situation. 3rd down and about 4.5 to go. It will be Michigan's 9th 3rd down situation. They have converted 4 out of 8. 14 and have made 8 out of 14. 3rd and 4 is Ricky Leach under center and Russell Davis, and he does not pick up through the right side the first down. He picks up about 3 yards, and so now Nelson and Oliver team up to bring him down. It'll be 4th down. 4th down and about 2 yards to go from the 27-yard line. The series started at the 35. It's 4th down and call it a long 1.5 to go, and Michigan's offense had better be good now if the Wolverines want to maintain the momentum they got as a result of that kickoff return. It's Bell deep, ends in tight, balanced line. The crowd is being asked to please. There it is, the end of the 3rd period. We have 45 minutes into the record book. Baylor 14, Michigan 7, 15 minutes coming up over this, the Michigan Football Network. Very physical teams now. Defensively Baylor, offensively Michigan. 4th and 1 on the 27-yard line. It's Bell deep and Russell Davis close, and there's the pitch out to Gordy Bell, and he goes around the right side, and he isn't going to make it. He's hit at the 29-yard line. The bread and butter play against Wisconsin goes for naught as Michigan's offense just couldn't move the ball when it counted, and the defense of Baylor, as we said at the start of the play, very physical, diagnosed it very well, and they gave it to their bread and butter man, Gordy Bell. Rob Lido was hurt earlier in this second half, and Russell Davis is now in at fullback, the highly touted freshman. We're into the last 14 minutes of the ballgame. There's a handoff this time to Franklin. He hurdles one would-be tackler over the 30, gets to the 32-yard line before he's dropped in there by Dave Devich, who submarined and grabbed legs, and one of them was the ball carrier, Mr. Cleveland Franklin. And so the momentum of this ball game is decidedly green and gold at the present time. And Ronnie Lee wide to the right, and there is a handoff to Jackson, inside counter reverse, and he fumbles the ball, and it is recovered in there by who? It is recovered by Michigan, I believe, at the 37-yard line. A big break for the Maize and Blue. The second fumble recovery by Michigan of a Baylor Bear fumble. And so the Wolverines have had their opportunities, Donald. In talking to Bode at the start of this ball game in the locker room, we mentioned that he had to be concerned about Michigan having the ball 18 times inside the opponent's 40 and only scoring twice in their first 2 games. Baylor has 17, but the Wolverines have position on the field. The Baylor 37-yard line, Bell deep, Russell Davis close. On a long count with 2 men wide to the right. Here comes Ricky Leach. He pitches off to Gordy Bell, and this time he gets down to the 31-yard line. He picks up blocks on that play as the man up here in the booth. The offensive coordinators, Terrell Burton is upstairs, and Tommy Reed. And they are telephoning down that play is there, the pitch out if Michigan will block. And that time they blocked, and they picked up on the play. 6 yards, 2nd down and 4. The ball resting 18 yards in from the western sideline. Michigan trails in the ball game 14-7, but the Wolverines picked up a big turnover on the previous play. Wide to the right goes Keith Johnson. Wide to the right, it's slot is Jimmy Smith. It's Bell deep. Russell Davis close. There's a handoff to Gordy Bell, and he's hit right at the 30-yard line. He picks up on the play about 1.5 yards. On the draw play, right up the center, Ricky Leach handing off to Gordy Bell. Moving in with a new football there. Rob Lytle at fullback. Gordy Bell at tailback. Wide to the right goes Keith Johnson. Wide at the slot is Jimmy Smith. It's Bell deep and Lytle close. Crucial 3rd and 3 at the 30-yard line. There is the handoff to Rob Lytle, and doggone it, he gets 3 yards. He needed 3, and he just barreled that frame of his. 190 pounds, and we're not going to call it. We called it, but it looked as though he was good, and they're going to have a measurement here. It'll be 4th down and inches. He did that on sheer determination and guts, Lundo. Well, the Southwest Conference is doing very well for themselves right now. Baylor leads Michigan 14-7. And Texas A&M leads Illinois 23-0. Well, Lytle was about 3 inches shy of the first down. Smith at the blocking spot on the right side. Ricky Leach under center in the long count. And he may have pulled. There's Lytle. He gets the first down. He may have pulled Baylor offside on that long count. No flag, however. Baylor jumped and then jumped back, and then the ball was snapped. So it is a first down, and it is Michigan's 12th first down and maybe the most crucial one of the ball game as far as the Maize and Blue are concerned. Well, the score is Baylor 14, Michigan 7. The halftime score was Baylor 7, Michigan 7, meaning they pushed in and were held on the 1-yard line. They punted out and then moved 55 yards to take a 14-7 lead. First and 10, Bell deep. There's Lytle close. Lytle again into the line. He gets to the 21-yard line. They're running this guy to death. Rob Lytle, the little Fremont, Ohio lad, number 41. He's a junior, and he's every inch a football player. Joe Blake's the head Wolverine in that part of the country. He's the head honcho of WUPY and claims there's a lot of interest in old George Patton Schembechler's Maize and Blue Legions in the Upper Peninsula. But right now down here in the Lower Peninsula, with 2nd down and 7, Ricky Leach goes out and hands off this time to Rob Lytle, and again he's over the 20 and gets to the 19-yard line. Rob Lytle, a one-man offensive machine right now, picking up 3 yards on the first down. On the 2nd down, he picked up about 3 more. It'll be 3rd down and 4. 3rd down and 4, right in front of the goalpost at the northern end of the field. Bobby Wood is not even being considered right now because the score is Baylor 14, Michigan 7. In the 4th and final quarter, wide to the right is Smith. Wide to the left is Keith Johnson. It's Bell deep and Lytle close in the I formation. And here it is. A pitch out to Gordy Bell again on the sweep, and he cuts back in, and he's down to the 15 and knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Remember, the series started at the 25, and I believe he may have picked up a first down. Gordy Bell was hurled out of bounds down below us here. The man who knocked him out of bounds was Slaughter, along with Green and Burns, as well as you folks out there in the western part of the state in the St. Joe Benton Harbor area over WHFB. There it is. First down. The 13th of the ball game. Wide at the slot on the right is Jimmy Smith. It's Bell deep and Russell Davis close in the I formation. It's 1st and 10, and there is the handoff to Rob Lytle, and he no sir. Rich Leach keeps it and goes all the way down to the 4-yard line. Boy, oh boy, Lytle fooled 4 men along with yours truly because he faked the ball so well. Ricky Leach kept it, looked out at Gordy Bell, saw Bell was covered, kept the ball, tucked it in, moved over the 10, all the way down to the 4.5-yard line. Goal to go at the 4.5-yard line, and Ricky Leach engineered that play beautifully, Donald.
Excellent, Bob. That's what he does best of all, plus put it in and then the pitch out, the timing on it, and throwing the ball to go with it. And once we get that kind of going, I think there'll be a little imagination in that offense.
2 tight ends on a balanced line. Bell deep. Lytle close. Lytle has it. There's a pitch out to Gordy Bell. He's down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's trying to pick it up, did he? No, sir. They're claiming that Gordy Bell just threw that frame of his. That little 180-pound frame over a great big Jim Arnold, a 220-pound defensive left end, and they're claiming that Arnold stopped Bell on the 6-inch line. It'll be 2nd down. 6 inches away from a touchdown that'll tie up this ball game with Baylor leading 14-7. And we have just about 8 minutes remaining in the ball game in the 4th and final quarter. With the ends in tight and a balanced line is Power Eye on the left side. It's Bell deep and Lytle close with Jimmy Smith on the left side. There is Lytle trying to get running room. He can't find a hole. And Rob Lytle, who picked up a touchdown against Wisconsin on a 15-yard dash up the gut of Wisconsin's defense, is trying to pick up his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. He's just inches away, and it'll be now 3rd down. That's Johnson, but the ends are in tight. Smergy and Prskotsky. I formation, Bell deep and Lytle close, and there's a pitch out to Gordy Bell, and he cuts back in. Touchdown, Gordy Bell! Gordy Bell scores for the 2nd time this afternoon. His 17th touchdown of his career, and he picks up a big 6 for Michigan as the scoreboard show. Michigan 13, Baylor 14. The Wolverines move 63 yards in 11 plays, and now Michigan's Bobby Wood will attempt to tie it up. And the toe of Bobby Wood is all important at the moment. As kneeling is Jerry Zuber. He spots it, he kicks it, it's end over end. We have a brand new ball game. Michigan 14, Baylor 14. 7 minutes remaining in the 4th and final quarter in a real cliffhanger from Ann Arbor over this, the Michigan Football Network. 17th touchdown of his career. He had 4 as a sophomore in 73, 11 in 74 as a junior. This year he has 2. There it is, end over end, and it's caught down there by Green at the 5, to the 10, to the 15. He's hit at the 15 and dropped at the 15. Jerry Zuber, an All-American Wolfman, Donnie Dufek make the tackle. Look at the Daubers of the Maize and Blue now, supported by 104,000 fans. Check that attendance for official number. The ball's brought in 18 yards from the far eastern sideline. Michigan's front 5 right now: Holmes, Hennessy, Koshak, Morton, along with Jellick. It's Devich and O'Neal at the linebacking spots, and the quarterback, Mark Jackson, has his work cut out for him now. This is what football's all about. This is what it's all about. The I formation, there it is. Franklin again. He hits nothing but maize and blue at the 17-yard line. On 1st and 10, he picked up 2. It'll be 2nd down and about 8. The attendance this afternoon, 104,248. Last year, Navy drew on this same Saturday, 104,232. So 16 more people are here this afternoon. There's a handoff this time to Franklin. He wiggles his way to the 20-yard line, picking up 3 more precious yards. As the ball is now resting on the 20-yard line, and we have less than 7 minutes to go in the ball game. 14 for Michigan, 14 for Baylor. Bo Schembechler and his maize and blue legions haven't been defeated here in Ann Arbor in their last 36 outings. They had to settle for a tie ball game last week. To the right is Thompson. Wide to the left is Jackson. There's Mark Jackson. Back for a pass, and he's trapped back there for a 2-yard loss, and the man that made the tackle on him, the man who slipped in there for Michigan. Bill Petrullo will have him for you here in a matter of seconds. It's Perlinger, Big Jeff Perlinger, with 12 tackles coming into the ball game. He's had 4 here this afternoon, and that was a big one as we have a 4th down and 5. And now Michigan has Jimmy Smith, along with number 17, and of course that's Dwight Hicks. He's only had 1, and he fair caught that one. Back on the 4-yard line is Mr. Moore. He's punting. It's a high punt, and it's taken by Smith at the 43 of Michigan, and he's downed immediately. So check in Michigan's offense. A 35-yard kick, just his average coming into the ball game. He, of course, being Billy Moore, the punter for Baylor. And so Michigan has the ball on the Wolverine 41-yard line. The score is Michigan 14, Baylor 14. The Wolverines a decided 14-point favorite, but Baylor playing their hearts out here under a very fine, courageous coach from down in Waco, Texas. Wide to the left this time comes Keith Johnson. At the slot on the tight side, on the wide side is Jimmy Smith. There is a pitch out to Gordy Bell, and he's around the left side, and he's getting a block. The 40, the 45, the midfield stripe, knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. He may have picked up a 1st down. Gordy Bell hit and driven out of bounds recklessly by number 42, Ron Burns, a monster man. Coming over there, and he belted Bell a good 4 yards out of bounds, Donald.
He certainly did, but Bob, that momentum carried, and I don't think there was any extras, as Fritz used to say.
That is a 1st down. Michigan's 14th in the ball game. The momentum has now changed from green and gold to maize and blue here in the last 9 minutes of this 4th quarter. Wide to the left is Keith Johnson, the I formation. There it is, a pitch out to Gordy Bell, and he fumbles it out of bounds at the 48-yard line. It's Michigan's ball, but a down is wasted. It'll be 3rd down now, or 2nd down, check, and 10. Gordy Bell actually thought he had it and was looking downfield. It was one of those situations where a man feels he has the ball and he wants to see where he's going to run with it, and he didn't quite have it, and it hit his hands and fell off out of bounds right in Bo Schembechler's lap, and I imagine Bo had a few choice words right there for Mr. Bell. Bell deep, Lytle close. There's the ball. There is Ricky Leach pitching off to Gordy Bell around the right side, and he somersaults to the 45-yard line. Michigan trying to skirt the ends with Gordy Bell, and they can't pick up the necessary yardage for a 1st down. On 2nd and 11, they pick up about 4. It'll be 3rd down and 7, a crucial 3rd down situation for Michigan. It'll be their 12th of the ball game. They have converted 5 out of 12 for the maize and blue in 3rd down conversions, while Baylor's quarterback, Mark Jackson, has converted 8 out of 15. Wide to the left this time is Jimmy Smith. Wide to the right is Keith Johnson. A roll-back pass by Ricky Leach. He cocks his arm and he throws downfield, and as Jimmy Smith was open, it was short of the receiver. Short of the intended receiver, and we have a situation where Michigan is forced to punt here. And punting in the ball game, of course, for Michigan will be their fine sophomore, Johnny Anderson, who 2 punts ago lofted 161 yards into the Baylor end zone. Last time he punted at 43 yards. His first effort in that 1st quarter was good for 39 yards. The line of scrimmage is the Baylor 45-yard line. Anderson is standing back on the Michigan 40. There's a snap, a perfect snap. A beautiful high spiral into the end zone, automatic touchback. 1st and 10 for the green and gold from Waco, Texas, and we're going to have to check down at the central office here in the communications center here. That's what they call this press box. That's a modern term. There are 5 minutes left in the ball game. 5 minutes left. The score is Michigan 14, Baylor 14. A 45-yard punt. Baylor then moved 50 yards to go ahead, 14-7. Michigan came back and tied it up 14-14. There goes Franklin from the 20 to the 27-yard line. He fumbled the ball, and Michigan recovered. Michigan recovered the ball, but they're claiming it was blown dead before he fumbled it, I believe. They're claiming it was blown dead before he fumbled the ball, and the crowd will not like that one. Dave Devich recovered a fumble. As the Wolverines recovered a fumble here early in this fourth period, pushed it all the way down and missed scoring, and then Baylor couldn't move the ball, punted out, and then Michigan moved 63 yards in 11 plays to tie up the game 14-14. So we have a second down and 4. In the I formation is Franklin deep and Ebo close, and there is a fake draw, and it's Mark Jackson back for a pass. He cocks his arm and he throws downfield, and he catches it at the 32-yard line. Good for the first down. Well thrown and beautifully caught by L.C. Jackson, who has caught 3 passes here this afternoon. He'd only caught 1 coming into this ball game against Ole Miss and Auburn last Saturday and 2 weeks ago today. But this afternoon he's caught 3, and he gave Baylor a very crucial, critical first down there. Baylor now has 18 first downs. Michigan has 14 first downs. To the left is Jackson. Wide to the right is Thompson. A look-in pass, and it's caught out there by Jackson at the 35. He gets away from Bolden at the 40, and he's driven out of bounds by Bolden at the 40-yard line. Remember, the line of scrimmage was the 32-yard line of Baylor. They need 2 more yards, they being Baylor, to pick up another first down. The ball is resting 18 yards in from the far eastern sideline. The score is Michigan 14, Baylor 14. Less than, 3.5 minutes to play. Wide to the left this time goes Jackson. Wide to the right comes Thompson, the I formation. Franklin deep, and there's a handoff to the fullback, Ebo, and he needed 2 yards, and he may have gotten just 2 yards. They're unpiling right around the 42-yard line. Remember, the series started at the 32. It's John Hennessy making the tackle. Saw a Michigan team come from behind to tie up Baylor, but Baylor, remember, was a 14-point underdog coming into this ball game. A moral victory for Baylor as the score remains as it is now. A rollout pass by Jackson. Cocks his arm, can't find a receiver, and he's going to run. He's tripped up at the 40-yard line. First and 10, and the clocks continue to move down in the hands of the officials. We can't see what it is, of course. The time, John Hennessy making the tackle for Michigan. The situation is number 56 for Michigan. Everybody knows who that is. That's old Timmy Davis, the best nose guard in the United States, in there to see whether he can throw this Baylor man for a loss, as he did on third down against Stanford. Remember last week in that closing 20 seconds to force Stanford away from going for the go-ahead touchdown into a field goal. Drop back, fake draw, and a swing pass. It's out there, and it's caught by Franklin. He's over the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40, down to the 36-yard line, to the 38-yard line. Checking the clock on the bingo, how much time there's left on the phone.
There's less than 3 minutes, Bob.
Less than 3 minutes to go. The ball's brought out 19 yards from the western sideline, moving toward the flagpole end of the field. Michigan and Baylor battling it out here. 14-14 is the score. In first downs, Michigan has 14, Baylor has 19. The Baylor Bears trying to go ahead here for the second time in the ball game. Wide to the left is 28. That's Thompson. The rest of the team in the tight eye. It's Franklin deep and Ebo close. There's a ball to Franklin. He's into the secondary, down to the 31, and he's dropped right there at the 31-yard line. And they're trying to move in to give their field goal, Bubba Hicks, who was 3 out of 8 on the season. He missed one earlier here from the 32-yard line. That was a 42-yard attempt earlier in this ball game. Holmes actually lost his contact lenses, and that was the reason for the delay. So now with less than 2.5, second down and 3, and there's a handoff again. He needs 3. He, of course, being the number 1 man, the tailback. It's Franklin again, needing 3 and picking up about 1.5 yards. It was second down and 3. It'll be third down and about 1 at the, call it the 29-yard line. And they haven't signaled anything yet. The communications center here in the press box does not have any indication as to how much time is left. It'll be third down and 2 at the 29-yard line. Draw play off to Franklin. He keeps his balance, and he's down to the 25-yard line. Beautiful running there by Franklin. Donald, I never saw Johnny Malbatch run. They said he was little and used 3 legs. He used his hand to keep his balance, and that time Franklin looked like he had 3 legs. He had his arm down and kept his balance and picked up 5 more yards.
He certainly did, because he was belted pretty hard, Bob. Great running on his part. And I'd say less than right around a minute to go, Bob.
Here is Baylor, right where Stanford was a week ago today. The I formation, there it is to Cleveland. And he's down to the 18-yard line, breaking again. Cleveland Franklin. Beautiful running right through the gut of Michigan's defense, all the way down to the 17-yard line. Call it the 18-yard line. Early in this half, Baylor went 55 yards in 8 plays to go ahead 14-7. Michigan came back 63 yards in 11 plays to tie it up. There is the handoff to the halfback Franklin, and he needed 4 on second down and picked up about 1. Michigan had 7 turnovers that day. How well we remember that 69 season. I know you do too. Michigan only had 14 turnovers all year, led the nation. They had 7 of them against Missouri. Of course, they climaxed that year with that great 24-12 upset win over Ohio State. But that's in the history book. Right now, the facts are Baylor, 3rd down and 4. There's a handoff again, and he fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Baylor at the 22-yard line. He fumbles the ball, and Baylor recovers, and Baylor calls timeout with exactly 11 seconds remaining. And Mr. Bubba Hicks and the Wolverines called timeout because they certainly wanted to stop the clock to give this lad a chance to think about what he was going to do. And kneeling is Mark Jackson, the quarterback, at the 29-yard line. The voice of Michigan football in the background. The ball is spotted, it's kicked, it's end over end, and it is no good. No good. It is no good. And we have another mother-in-law's osculation. No satisfaction in kissing your sister. Michigan 14, Baylor 14. There are 4 seconds remaining on the digital scoreboards. They are not working as yet, but if they were working, it would show 4 seconds because the officials just signaled over to Bo Schembechler, and we got that $6 million body right now, and that our eyes spotted those 4 little fingers as he pointed over to Bo and said 4 seconds. Flank wide to the left. The score's 14-14, 4 seconds remaining. Ricky Leach under center, and he drops back, and he's going to throw a bomb. He cocks his arm, and he throws downfield, and it absolutely hits the ground incomplete. The intended receiver was Gordy Bell, and Ricky Leach was nowhere near him. There is 1 second left on the wristwatch held by the referee, and that's the official scoreboard right now. The referee says 1 second remaining. 1 second remaining in this ball game. Michigan 14, Baylor 14. Breaking wide to the left this time is Keith Johnson. Jimmy Smith along with him. Ricky Leach back, giving him on the draw play to Gordy Bell, and the Wolverines run out the clock, and that's all she wrote. That's all there is. There isn't any more. 104,000 fans, the largest crowd in the country so far this year to witness an intercollegiate football game, saw 2 teams battle to a 14-14 tie. We'll be back with a quick recap right after this final message over this, the Michigan Football Network.
If you're
Dunlund wrapping up Michigan's 2nd consecutive tie ball game of the 1975 season. What can you say except that Baylor wanted to win, Michigan wanted to win. Fate was unkind to both teams. Actually, both teams had opportunities to win this ball game. Baylor had the last opportunity to win it when on 4th down from the 29-yard line, a 39-yard attempt by a young man who has made 49 straight extra points, but he has not been too accurate in his field goal attempts this year. He has only made 3, actually, out of 9 attempts, and he missed 2 out here this afternoon.